right, hey there, Alter Nation. Super special episode of All In on Alteryx today. Here we are with the CEO of McLaren Racing, Zach Brown, on a special weekend in Austin, Texas for the U.S. Grand Prix. Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
Yeah?
It's going to be, apparently, and I believe them, the largest attended Formula One event ever. They're expecting 450,000 people over the weekend.
Well, tell me about the season. How are you feeling about the F1 season this year?
I think you can kind of break it down into a couple different pockets. I think Formula One as a whole, it's been a massively exciting season. Even though the championship was wrapped up early, the racing's been awesome, going to new venues. Of course, no shortage of politics going off the field, which is what makes up a big part of the sport. So I would say the sport very strong, very healthy, and only getting stronger. We had our first race in Miami, so some real highlights. For us, we've also had some highlights, podium with Lando. We've been running kind of fourth and fifth all year. Yeah. Fourth has been our target. We're currently sitting fifth. So from that point of view, not a great season for us, especially because the last 5 years we've just gone from strength to strength to strength to strength. Right. But as you get near the top, you start kind of ebbing and flowing a bit. And in one aspect, we're closer in that Mercedes, because we share the same engine, is a data point for us, and we're closer to Mercedes than we have been in the last 5 years. But Red Bull and Ferrari built a great car this year, and we're further away from Red Bull and Ferrari than we'd want to be. And then, of course, we've had our challenges with Daniel in our other car, and we're making a driver change there. So it's been a bit of an up and down season, a decent season, some highs, some lows. Looking forward to try and kind of finish out the year in fourth, and super excited for next year.
Fantastic. Well, our partnership now is in its second year. I feel great about how the partnership. Yeah, exactly. It's working really well for us. And it's funny, every time anyone talks to me about the partnership, they go, I get it now. I get the fact that, McLaren is a really diverse company, but, racing requires really sophisticated analytics. But these days, so does every other company, right? Yeah. And so it's cool that people get that. But tell me, how's the partnership been from your standpoint?
It's great. I mean, we're in the technology business, so data and analytics is just core to what we do. But as you said, kind of so is every other business now, right? Knowing their consumer, their employees, whether that's consumer is their ultimate customer or it's B2B. Yeah. None of us can run our companies without data and analytics, and especially a Formula One team. And we have 1,000 people on the racing team that all embrace technology, but we need to work with technology leaders such as yourselves to provide that technology and that know-how and that partnership. And I feel we're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because also the world's a tougher place. So being efficient and precise and fast, Formula One used to be able to kind of buy your way out of problems. And now with this cost cap and the world we live in, now it's about kind of hitting the target right the first time, where historically we could take a bunch of shots at the target. And that's where data and analytics for us is so important.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because every CEO I talk to these days, every CFO, they're looking for ways to see around corners to run a tighter ship. And of course, the way that you can do that is with the totality of the data and doing something with it that allows you to have that visibility.
100%. It's all about, it's the same thing we do in Formula One. We run 300 million, which is a crazy number, race simulations. So we're trying to see around the next corner, and then we're trying to anticipate, well, if we see this around the next corner, we might do this or we might do that. So we do that 300 million times. So that's how quickly we need to see around the corner, and how, when you do see around the corner, what's the next road that you take. So it's super important to us.
Well, our FY23 starts in just a few months, and I'd love to get your some thoughts and words about our partnership for our team.
It's been awesome. You're helping us a lot, which is what's most important, right? When we look at our partners now, I think the good old days, it used to be, because of the exposure Formula One creates, it used to kind of be a sticker on the car. Now the sticker on the car is really the billboard to tell everyone what we're doing together. What's most important to us is our partners help us go fast, and there's so many different ways our partners do that. You're very engaged. Your whole team is very engaged. Your technology is awesome. It's well embraced, and I think it's early days. And what I'm looking forward to is, what else can we do to develop together? I think that's one of the great things is our team's able to kind of say, what if we could do this, and can you help us here? And kind of the customization element, because our business is different than other people's business, as is their business is different than ours.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the prospect. I look back and see the value that this partnership has brought for us, not just the eyeballs and the branding, which was really important to us a year and a half ago, but also just the ability to bring senior executives from our customers to sit down in a room with other senior executives from many of your other customers, and I've seen real value in some of the relationships that you've helped foster yourself. So I really appreciate that.
That's great. I think those are some of the things that aren't visible to the outside, right? I think it's the great brand on our engine cover there. That's kind of obvious in what people expect, and then I think people assume there's probably some technology transfer that's kind of obvious, but then I think, as you just mentioned, you and I have a big dinner, tonight with. It's going to be a lot of CEOs that you're going to be able to meet for the first time, other people you're already going to know, and business relationships that'll be fostered. And so I think one of McLaren's responsibilities is to almost be an extended sales force for you, so to speak, and facilitate intros to let you and your team develop business in this very business ecosystem that Formula One and McLaren create. So it's great to hear it's going well.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me about the rest of the business at McLaren. What do you see in macroeconomically out there?
What's weird is what I see on the news and see on the stock market isn't what's happening in the world of McLaren. And I kind of caveat that with maybe I say yet, depending on how long this goes on. I'm not hearing from anyone anything rosy anytime soon. It's kind of a degree of how bad it is. And that's the reality we live in. What we're seeing, though, just from our business, record attendees, more races than we've ever had, more media partners than we've ever had, more commercial partners than we've ever had. So in our world, it's like, what bad economy? The fans are at 450,000 of them this weekend, all paying good money to be out here. And we're going to announce, not us, but the sport, a new TV deal here in America shortly. It's up 20-fold from what it was previously. Digital is through the roof. 24 Grand Prix next year. We're maxed out on Grand Prix, and there's a waiting list of countries that want more Grand Prix. Our beautiful race car with the Alteryx on the engine cover there from when we won in Monza. We got a lot of great brands, affiliated with us, and companies that are new to the sport. Yourself, the Googles, the Goldman Sachs of the world that haven't historically been in the sport. So, I know what's going on out there. We're not seeing it inside our facility, if you'd like. I think that talks to the power of Formula One, in that I think when times get tough, the best actually gets stronger, and kind of the weak go away. And I think we're in a fortunate position that we as a sport and as a brand are in the strength category.
Absolutely. Well, 2023 is going to be a big year for Alteryx. We're really excited about it. It's going to be a big year for F1 as well. There's going to be 3 events held here in the U.S. This past year, 2022, we saw Miami. But tell me, what do you think about Vegas?
It's going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and that's the exciting thing. Some people have said to me, when do you think Formula One will peak? And it's like, I think it's just getting started.
Yeah.
New TV contract. They've spent 20x, which means they'll put in 20x the effort as well. We're only 1 year into Miami. We haven't even done Las Vegas yet. Netflix will be out again next year. So I don't see any reason, and I think the competition's going to only get closer as things kind of settle in on these new rules. So as I look down the path, I just see Formula One continuing to go from strength to strength to strength. I think Vegas will be spectacular.
Yeah.
Visibly around the world, if you think of what Formula One stands for, and you turn on the TV and you're going to see we're going to run the race at night. I mean, like Las Vegas, that's it. And so I think that's going to be yet another big shot in the arm for the sport. The demand we've seen from our partners wanting to attend the race is off the charts, as it is pretty much at every Grand Prix. And it was great to get back in Asia this year.
Yeah, for sure.
We were in Singapore, which again was a sellout, and that's important because Asia is a market. It's funny, we were in Asia first, always wanting to kind of build America. We're doing great in America, and then because of COVID and how long Asia was shut down, we now need to kind of get going there again and hope that we get back to places like China next year.
Zach, I'd love to get your sense on how do you see social movements impacting F1?
I think it's going to be, and is, at least for us, very additive to making us a better organization. So, sustainability, which means so many different things to so many different people. To us, it's mental health, it's fiscal, it's climate, it's diversity, it's safety, and we have 24 nationalities in our racing team. I believe when you get different perspectives from literally around the world, from different cultures and genders and race, you get more informed, really data, it's human input to make better decisions. We want to be carbon net zero by 24. That's a 2040, I should say, data-driven, science-based, how we're going to get there. Our DE&I agenda, we'd like to double where we are today, which would be half of our workforce from underprivileged individuals and underrepresented from around the world. Safety's always been something that Formula One's been at the forefront of. We were the first team to develop a carbon fiber tub, which not only has performance benefit, it has safety benefits from a crash structure point of view. So these are the reasons why we're in things like Extreme E, as you well know. First time we've ever had a female racing driver. It's a new championship that has a male and female driver, where we race 5 different locations around the world where the climate has impacted the world. So we've been in Uruguay and Chile and Saudi and Sardinia and some places that I never thought I'd get a passport stamp from. And so it's very, very important to us. It's very important to work with our partners, because I think that's a race we're all in together. And as I tell everyone back at the factory, it's a journey where I don't think we're ever going to reach our final destination. So it needs to be woven into everything that we do.
Yeah, I think with the Netflix series, people are realizing that F1 has really been at the forefront of all innovation regarding automobiles and safety. The first paddle shift, the first hybrid motor to be able to be applied, not only to harvest energy, but to be able to provide more horsepower. There's just so much that goes into a successful racing campaign that ends up getting manifested into cars that make our lives a lot safer as just day-to-day drivers.
Yeah, we're going to get into biofuels next. We're using some more ethanol now. They're the most thermal efficient engines in the world, so I think we're right on the cutting edge. And because we're so far out there, sometimes it takes 10 years to go from a Formula One car to a road car. And it's also the knowledge and know-how of what we learn, how to tackle issues, how to engineer, re-engineer. So I see part of Formula One's role is being an R&D lab for the entire world.
So analytics seemingly has always been important in F1, but I'd love to get your sense for how do you see analytics becoming even more important in the future for F1?
Well, Formula One, we've been into data and analytics and things like connected cars for 20 years, and even hybrid working, right? We race in Australia and mission controls in England. So a lot of kind of what's a new phenomenon in this world we've been doing for 20 years, and I think that's one of the cool things about Formula One. It's on the cutting edge of development. We've gone from, you can collect all this data. We collect 1.5 terabytes of data off the race car every weekend, 300 sensors. But data's only as good as filtering that data and understanding and being able to grab the and analyze it quickly, and filter out the noise and what's the good data and what's the irrelevant data. And so I think where Formula One is now is amalgamating that data so we can make quicker decisions. A lot of the times, the guys and gals on pit wall, we have like 1 second to make a decision, and we have all this data coming in, and it needs to be refined and precise and accurate. So I think that's where we are going, which, we've probably collected more data than anyone else. Now we need to be quicker at analyzing and getting that data in a relevant way. So that's what we're doing today. And I think probably the next phase of that is, we get that in, and then, you have the human being who then starts making decisions off of that. I don't want to have the pit wall just be computers. I'm sure everyone on pit wall doesn't want to just be computers, but the more heavy lifting that technology can do for us, the quicker we can turn our attention to other things. And so I think that's where the sport's going to go, and probably start getting into AI, and well, not probably, getting more into AI and voice recognition and things of that nature, because we're also monitoring the competitors and trying to figure out what they're doing. And so there's still a lot of manual interpretation of the data. And again, I think the more precise and concise that will roll up, just the quicker the decision making.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. I couldn't help but think when you were answering it that if I'd have asked that same question to David Solomon from Goldman Sachs or to Michael Dell from Dell Computers, to name a couple of your other major sponsors, they would have given me pretty much the same answer, right?
I mean, think about the business they're in, right?
Yeah.
Goldman and what they're doing in their world. I mean, that's fast, real-time stuff. So I think as we started at the top of the conversation, data and analytics is critical to all businesses of all shapes and sizes. And the bigger you are, the more important it is, because you need the technology to do the work for you.
Yeah, for sure. And the key notion is, as I see this, I talk to many of your users at McLaren, because thank you, by the way, for being a really good customer, is it's not just the handful of data scientists that you've got employed, it's the fact that you're using knowledge workers across your business, seven different areas of the business, that really for us it's like the democratization of analytics that applies to everyone. You can't teach a data scientist to be a good accountant or to be a good race engineer, but you can teach a good race engineer or a good accountant how to get better decisions with data.
100%. All my decisions are data-driven decisions. And then, as you know, as CEO, you then have to use your business instinct to make the final decision, but it's an informed decision based on data.
Totally. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really a pleasure, as always. The last one we did was at our HQ. Here we are in Austin. Good luck with the race this weekend, and looking forward to many more to come.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.